Hey, it's your neighborhood public school teacher again, and I wanted to just talk about the jersey that started it all. This one right here, this is Vladimir Tretiak's jersey, and that's a Russian Soviet Red Army hockey team jersey. Tretiak was sort of the Michael Jordan of the Red Army hockey team back in the 1980s for the Soviets, and he was just a complete all-star. He dominated world hockey, and we saw him at the Sochi Games as one of the people that lit the flame in the Winter Games at that Olympics. Anyway, I was lucky enough in 1988. I was taking a Russian history class in college at Occidental College, and I was lucky enough to travel with my professor to Moscow and Leningrad for an amazing trip. It was my first trip overseas, and of course it just blew my mind because it was behind the Iron Curtain, it was before the wall fell, and I was just amazed by the people that I met. And in one fantastic incident, I met some young Russians and on the street, and as it went, because of the black market over there and their inability to get consumer goods because of their communist system, they wanted to trade with us Americans for some of our things. And I brought some goods over there to trade, including a pair of Reeboks and some Levi's and some other things from the 1980s. And I met these three gentlemen, and one of them wanted to trade some things with me, so we did. And then we got to talking, and I said, hey, I would love to get a Russian soccer or a Russian hockey jersey. And he said, I think I can get one for you, but I want to trade for a pair of shoes or Reeboks for those. And so we arranged a deal for the next day, and we actually met sort of clandestinely on the street because it was illegal to do this black market trading. And he brought this jersey to me, and it's the first jersey of my collection, and I started the whole collection for me. When I was over there, I learned, of course, from these three gentlemen that they weren't communists. They were just like anybody else in the world, and they had the communist system, the political system imposed on top of them, but the government and the people were different. Similarly to the way we ought to think about it here in the United States. We have our government and we have our people, but there's no reason for us to hate them. And so we talked about that, and our governments may hate each other, but there's no reason for me to hate them. And this jersey means a lot to me. Many years later, one of my students in one of my classes looked up at that jersey and wondered about that jersey, and I told him that story, and he said, hey Stan, I have a CCCP or a Russian Soviet jersey at home, a soccer jersey, would you like it? And I said, well, yeah, absolutely, it would be great to put it next to my hockey jersey, the one that started it all. And so Evan brought me this jersey that he had collected online through some trade online, and I remember Evan's contribution to my classroom next to the jersey that started it all. So anyway, there's a fun story about my jerseys, and again, a reference to everyone is welcome here because we all are human. We're all people, regardless of the governmental systems that we have in our countries.